Granelli. I played for the Wild Dogs campaign in 2023. Before that, I started Ultimate at UCT in 2020. I played for their second team and then their first team, the UCT Flying Tigers. I would describe myself as a kind of fast-paced, thrown hybrid handler on the field. And yeah, I'm now playing for the Nomad mixed team in Cape Town and hopefully looking to start a new Opens team in 2025.
Ooh, sounds pretty exciting. Oh, wait, sorry, wait.
You're muted.
I was muted. Sounds pretty exciting. Before I get into like some of the questions I have here, I'm curious about the new Opens team you'll be having. Do you want to like
Mm.
plug us up to that? Who are you going to be starting it with? Like, well, yeah, what's the plans? What's the plans?
Well,
If you
so
don't mind sharing. If you don't mind
yeah, I'm kind of just speaking it into existence at the moment. There have been discussions with Tom Smythe and Mauro, and yeah, I think we've wanted to do something for a while. This season was difficult with it kind of coming sooner than we thought it would come, and Cape Town not really knowing exactly how that would work for us, but and then obviously and then me being injured, so I didn't really like want to play. Um, so yeah, I think we're just looking for another kind of high intensity opens team to compete with the likes of Mutiny and Long Donkeys and Rex, and yeah, try and bring some people back that have maybe left the frisbee scene. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Bringing back the oldies, bringing some
Mm.
intensity to the South African Opens like landscape. I think
Yeah.
that's a good move just to disrupt that top three that's been sitting there for the past few
Mm.
years. I think
Yeah.
that would be lacquer. But we're at the end of your journey now. Let's go to the beginning of your journey, back to
Mm.
UCT second team. Like, how did this whole frisbee journey start? Was it a friend that introduced you? Did you see some cool highlights? Like, what's the chat?
Yeah. So it was a friend of my cousin, and that friend was Becky Griffin, who used to play for UCT Mixed and Women's. And yeah, it was kind of, I had met her in like my matric year, and she said, I play frisbee and we're going on like tour to Joburg and like all that. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Like, never heard of that before. And it kind of sparked my interest, like, well, this could be something interesting to do. And then yeah, come 2020, started at UCT and was like very keen to just try a different sport out, and see how it went, and wasn't keen at all to kind of stay with the traditional sports. I was kind of bored of that and didn't particularly like, I don't know, some of the culture around them. So yeah, I just signed up for UCT Ultimate and then started going to Frisbee socials on Fridays. And yeah, I really fell in love with it. I remember distinctly feeling like I didn't want to sign up fully for the whole commitment to practices and league games. I was like, I'm just going to start with social. But I think I could have dived straight in. And yeah, that's kind of how I started. And then obviously 2020 happened, didn't play much apart from going to some social pickups that happened towards the end of the year, and then really got stuck in with practicing and was part of the UCT Roaring Tigers, the second team in 2021. And I think that's where things really started. I found a community of friends and also found a really supportive kind of sports community, which is something that I'd never really experienced before. And I think that pushed me to really come to practices and commit myself because it was fun at the same time. And yeah, then just kept on playing.
Awesome. I was actually, the next question was going to be, that's what got you here and what kept you. And it sounds like the
Mm.
supportive community and the culture is what kept you like coming back for more. Do you mind like just elaborating on that with like some stories of some of your experiences? Like just take us back into the shoes of James Granelli 2022 in the Roaring Tigers. Like what were those moments that were like, do you know? These frisbee people, they're real cool. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a story. One story that comes to mind is 2021, and we were playing mixed regionals as the Roaring Tigers. And it was the first like tournament we had ever played. It was just one Saturday. It was raining, and we got bageled completely. Whole tournament. Did not score a single point, did not win a single match. But I think it was still probably one of the funnest tournaments I've ever played because despite us, okay, maybe we scored some points, but we definitely didn't win a single match. But yeah, it was pretty bad. Um, but at the same time, it was so much fun. It wasn't, no one was sad on the field. Of course, we were kind of bleak that we weren't winning, but we were all just there to support each other and play this game and also be new at this game. I think we were all very forgiving of each other, which I think in some ways translates up to higher teams and like more competitive frisbee. There's still this element of forgiveness in some way, but especially when you're starting out, we're all pretty new and we were all just so forgiving of each other that no matter if we were scoring or not scoring, we still had an amazing day out chasing a piece of plastic. So yeah, that's one story about the community that I think from there I was like, it doesn't actually matter if we win, um, as long as we're all here. Yeah, that changes
Okay.
a bit as you go up, but very, I think a similar. Well, my approach is at least similar. Yeah.
Take me through that, because initially you said that there's a similarity between like how forgiving the
Mm,
community was at that entry level, and you said that that still continues at the
mm,
highest level, but then you said
mm,
something about like it sort of changes. So I
mm.
think where my question is leading to is like going on your journey towards like the wild dogs. Like, how did that element of the forgiveness, the understanding that everyone's learning, how did that evolve, if it evolved, or like change, or did it disappear? Can you like walk us through how that grows? Yeah.
I think maybe it doesn't change, but it evolves in a sense that in the beginning, there's a lot more forgiveness because everyone is new and everyone's learning and the wind is difficult. But moving up into higher intensity teams and teams looking to really compete and play the best frisbee they can, I think the forgiveness then goes into kind of expectation, I think, but not unreasonable expectation in a way. And I also think about effort put in is a
Hmm.
big one. I think as you get into higher teams, there's forgiveness, but it's almost like caveated with effort, right? So if you can see that someone's like really putting in the effort and maybe doesn't make the pass this time or drops it this time, um, but if they're back on the field, giving their 100% or trying to get that D or, yeah, have put it out of their mind in a sense, then there's like, that's fine. Like, next point, we got it, next point. And also, this kind of big picture thinking, I think, sometimes comes in. And look, like, this is my very personal thing. Like, this is my approach that I take, and some people may agree, may disagree. But I'm thinking now of like at Worlds, like, there was stuff we did wrong. Each of us probably had a moment where, like, we dropped it or we threw it into the ground or like threw it to the other team. But I think Frisbee has a really good way of keeping you focused on the next point, right? Like, point finishes, cool. That's like a chapter closed. Next point, we come up, we we start again. We give our effort again. And I think that's where that forgiveness comes in. It's not like super cutthroat. In some senses, maybe it does have to be sometimes. I think at some points, like, there's a limit to forgiveness, especially in yeah, in high pressure situations, in games that you maybe really want to win. And sometimes people just have off days, and that at that point you maybe just need to be like, cool, like, we need to play someone else. But I think before that there is a lot of this, like, you did something wrong, but there's no time to kind of fret about it. Like, put that out of your head, come and do better, and like improve yourself during the game. And I think people have different ways of showing that. Sometimes it's harsh, sometimes it's like, get, I don't know, get focused, get right. Like, we got a game to play, like, take whatever time you need on the side of the field and come back. Other times it's more supportive or like more positive in the sense. But I think in my mind, it's all, I'm not looking to criticize you as a person or as a player. I'm looking to get the best out of you for the team. And in my mind, that comes across as like, I forgive you for your mistakes, but going forward, like, come back at it. Yeah, geez, I never really thought of it like that, but
That's
yeah,
cool. Give me a moment just to get some better connection,
all good.
because there's tons to unpack in what you said there. Starting with what you said about like as you grow, forgiveness changes with expectations and like effort
Mm,
becomes like a real thing. And I can remember that was one of the big words in Dylan's campaign.
mm,
At least
mm,
in the trials, he was like, look, man, like we're looking for effort, you know, we're looking for the ability to bounce back when things get hectic. And yeah, like just the way you continued and the way you wrapped it up about like you're not looking to criticize someone, but there is like a certain level of like being held accountable. So like you're not looking to criticize them, you sort of want them to do the best that they can because the team needs them.
yeah,
So yeah, like it's interesting how forgiveness sort of like also works together with like accountability in a way because you don't
yeah,
want to take that for granted. So
yeah.
thank you very much. That was yeah, very well thought out. And thanks for taking me through that. But now let's go on to Worlds
Mm.
and your experience there. You already spoke about like the forgiveness and like some of the mistakes that you made, but can you just talk to me about like some like highlights, you know,
Mm.
what actually before the high actually no, let's go there. Talk to me about some highlights, some things that you really enjoyed about the campaign, just off the cuff.
The people, I really enjoyed our team. I enjoyed spending so much time with them. Playing probably the best frisbee I've ever played with people who are also playing the best frisbee they've ever played against the best people they've ever played against was definitely, I think, a highlight. Just having the privilege to play against some of these teams and see how you stack up against them was very cool. The atmosphere, I don't know how to describe the atmosphere, but the atmosphere was just good. It's like, wow, we're here. We're the only team from Africa. We're here doing something very weird and very cool at the same time. Staying together as a team was a big highlight. Yeah, just bonding on and off the field was something that was unexpected. And I think, yeah, really staying together feels like I have a better connection to teammates that I literally haven't seen since. But if they came to Cape Town, would be like, oh yeah, let's go for a drink or something. I think just spending that time and going through the process together, not like trauma bonding, but like something. I don't know. Do you want like game specific highlights,
No,
like
no, no,
play?
no, no. I just I wanted you to give me some
Mm,
leads that I could sort of draw
okay.
on. Mauro in the last interview spoke about the privilege that it was to play at your highest level,
Mm,
and against people that are also at their highest level. And I think just to sort of put words to what you're trying to say about the atmosphere, because even I was feeling it, and I wasn't even playing. But
mm,
like you could feel the focus, you could feel the energy, you could feel the preparation, you could feel like the desire of like teams, like when they won, how elated they were, when they lost, how much it meant. Like the level of
mm,
it just felt like everything was like at a higher altitude. Everything was a little bit more concentrated. Like you felt a tournament before, but like it's just bigger, you know, and in a new place. So that was pretty cool. But
100%.
thank you. I wanna chat about the bonding, right? Do you mind like just mentioning names, like name dropping and just describing like experiences? Because without stealing your thunder, I'm expecting that it's not necessary. You might not have bought because you said it was surprising, right? Can you speak to me about like the surprising ones? Because there'd probably be some that you'd expect, like
Yeah,
the
Cape
ones that you yeah, the
Town.
Cape Town people. You'd
Yeah.
expect that, but then like it's fascinating. Yeah, actually, let me
Mm,
let you talk. Let me let you talk. Let me let you talk.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the people that surprised me most was the Durban crowd. So Ethan, Taya, and Robin. And even that's actually like a weird one because they didn't even stay with us. But I think this was more like during the training camps and during the campaign. Um, and I think maybe part of it also has to do with like seeing each other grow as players and like I don't know, like you saw each other at the trials and then you see each other like through the training camps and then eventually like you see Ethan like throw a hammer across field in the Germany streamed game and it gets caught and it's like, oh, that's very cool. Like, yeah, I think seeing each other grow like that and then just being there, as you said, for these like I think that's a really good way to describe it. Is like the emotions were just so much higher. It's like every break point is so much more intense than like, yeah, we've played like nationals and stuff before. Every win is so much better. Every loss is so much harder. Yeah, just everything is heightened, and I think going through that together is something that like brings you together as a team and as players that have never seen each other before and wouldn't have played together without this campaign.
That's pretty lit, man. That's awesome. In terms of like the takeaways from the
Mm.
campaign, you spoke about how you watch people grow as players. What about you as a person? Did you feel any growth from before the campaign and then after the campaign off the field specifically? Because yeah, actually you talk.
Definitely. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in terms of commitment, effort, like mental strength. So going through it, and I think showing myself that I am capable of doing it and that I was able to do it. I think like going into it, I had maybe worries or doubts about like, yo, this is a lot. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if other people are maybe like better suited or what. But yeah, going through it, putting in the effort, putting in the time, sacrificing things. Yeah, that definitely made me like a stronger person. And I think I still don't know exactly what I learned from it. But that's on a more like kind of, not say not positive note, but like of the sacrifice and things on like a more like self growth level. I think similarly, like, yeah, being like proud of myself as like as something that I've done. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, like really being like, yeah, you got this, you can do this, you did that kind of thing. Self narrative that like really grew throughout the campaign. Other growth, I think dealing with people as well. Like just dealing with on a team of people from across the country, from different frisbee backgrounds and different personalities. And I think learning how to navigate that in a way that doesn't impact my game in a sense of playing frisbee, kind of learning how to navigate like when to step in, when to not step in, when to keep quiet, when to just like, I don't know, let people be, let people quarrel. Yeah, that was a big one. And then finally, I think like learning how to put for myself like criticism away from emotion. So like I think in the beginning it was hard for me. Well, this was particularly with like Dylan's coaching style. It was like, oh damn, he's like telling me all these things that I'm doing wrong and like I don't think I can do this and like I don't know, found that very tough and then eventually kind of like was like actually he's not criticizing me as a person or as a like player necessarily, um but just like a way in which you're doing this wrong, it's like a place for you to improve. And I think obviously it's like not easy all the time, but yeah, I think being able to take that and not take it all the way down to like my my emotions and like any kind of criticism, like yeah, they're not necessarily attacking you as a person, um, but just want you to be better. But also being able to brush off things that might actually be hurtful, but like you know, we're all in this moment together, experiencing things differently, and if that's what they need to do to like I don't know handle the situation, then like that's what they need to do. Um, so yeah, I actually haven't reflected that that deeply on it until now. But yeah, I think it really taught me how to like take criticism and still be confident at the same time.
Damn, man, dropping bars out here. And the best part about the bars that you're dropping is that you're even surprised that, like, wow, yeah, that was actually pretty deep. Yeah, damn. No, I'm not gonna lie. This answer unlocked a lot of things for me,
Mm,
personally, just like in my position coming in. Sorry for jumping in here, but
no,
like,
no, go
I
for it.
also have like doubts about this campaign, even
Mm,
though it's like I have a plan, I'm like
mm,
ready and
mm,
I'm working hard, I'm making the sacrifices. I still can't like shake the doubt, you know. I still can't like get those voices out of my head. But yeah, like you sort of had to learn to deal with it and learn to not take things personally. And it sounds like it was a process for you. It sounded like it wasn't
Mm,
you sort of realized it at the beginning, or maybe like at a training camp, and then when you got on the Worlds campaign, you sort of these things started unfolding to you, and then you got to the point where you were able to like distance yourself or to onboard the criticism without like the personal like
yeah.
disillusion, which I think I was gonna ask what would you tell yourself at the beginning of the training camp, and this would or like when you started. I'm assuming this would probably be it, unless there's something else. Second last question, then there'll be one more, and then we'll be done.
Yeah, I think it would be something along the lines of that. I think it would be don't worry so much and that things will work out fine. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
And
cool.
sorry,
Oh
one more
yeah,
thing.
do your thing,
And
do your thing, do your thing.
that like I think going back to like the first point, like people have more understanding than you think they do. Like or compassion than you think they do. Yeah.
People have more compassion than you think they do. Okay, well, those are some good words to live by. Don't be
Mm.
afraid of making mistakes. Don't worry so much. Like things will be fine. Yeah, man. Thanks for that. I'm taking that now, and I'm gonna be a bit more chill. Last question. I think I tried to ask all the interviewees this question because I'm trying to cultivate a culture, an identity. Like I'm trying to cultivate like something, how do you say it? Like a yeah, an identity. So from your perspective, having gone through like a successful campaign where you were a player and you actually got to participate, which we shouldn't take for granted,
Yeah.
what what does it mean to you to be a wild dog? Like if someone's like, "Oh, you're a wild dog," or "You were a wild dog," like what does it mean? It's a bit
Mm,
ambiguous, it's open-ended, but
mm,
I mean it means something for everybody, you know. So I want to know what it means for you.
huh. I think it has multiple meanings. For me, I think the first one that comes to mind is being part of a or having the privilege to be grouped with and a part of a like lineage of great South African ultimate frisbee players and not be like lumped up in the same category as them, but in essence in a similar way. Like some of the people that or some of the players that like really look up to and like strive to play like to be in a similar to hold a similar level or category as they did one day was like is I think a really big part of it for me. Um, Secondly, I think what does it mean to be a wild dog? I think it's like representing South African ultimate or the youthfulness of South African ultimate. I think it's something quite distinct to maybe I don't know what it would be like, but a different campaign or a different world's team. I think there's like a I don't know what there's like some descriptive word for it, but like the literally willingness to just like go out, go and try, like give it your best shot. Like that for me is like what the wild dogs are, is like really just chasing the frisbee like a dog on the beach. Like you're just gonna go for it. You're gonna train as hard as you can. Like we know you're probably not like as experienced as like all of these other teams who have like college programs and high school programs and junior school programs. It's like you are just gonna go and like give it your best shot, and that kind of ferocity, is it ferocity or whatever it is like for me a really big part of like what it was to be a wild dog, was like taking that opportunity of like this is what we can do or this is what we've got to show. um and I think it's also like the opportunity. What does it mean to be? Sorry, I'm just keep repeating the question.
Do your
Why
thing.
the opportunity? Yeah, can't take this for granted. The opportunity to push myself as a frisbee player to new places, because I think that was a really big privilege. Like besides from going to the tournament, like the opportunity to like go to an extra practice a week, to go to training camps, to have like a second coach is just like I don't take that for granted. I don't think I would be the same as players or as I was like before the campaign, and obviously I would have gotten better like just playing normally, but yeah, like really savoring that, looking back on it now, like wow, that was a real privilege um, to have that kind of provided for me and space to grow as a player. And like, yeah, now I'm just thinking of like at the training camps, like literally people coming to play against us was, yeah, and again, like these people are either previous wild dogs or again, like some of the best players in the country to have like opportunities just to get reps in against them. Like, yeah, I don't think I'd be the same player without that. So that's, yeah, wild dog means growth for me in some way. Yeah. Yeah. And then that idea of like being, I know it's so cliche, but like being part of a pack, like being part of like being part of a group of people that are all working together for a common goal. Like, yeah, you have your individual goals, but you literally can't do it without them and their support. So yeah, being like in my mind, it's like being part of this like pack of puppies that are like all gonna grow up together and like have to go hunting together. And like maybe in the beginning they're like not gonna get it because they have no idea what they're doing, but maybe one day they'll hunt something together. And like, yeah, I don't know. Now I'm getting into like animal metaphors. I think I'm talking for too long. So
No,
uh,
that
yeah,
was beautiful. Do you have more?
no, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a hard question. I think there's obviously for me this is like getting could go into a different conversation though. There's like a weirdness in like pride, like proud of like representing South Africa on like the world stage, but also like I think knowing that like as a team we weren't like representational of South Africa in terms of like race and class. Like for me that sits weirdly, like I'm not sure how I like, yeah, I'm really proud that we like kind of showed what we are, but in the same sense like I guess I am not so proud of where South African Ultimate is at the moment and where it could be in terms of representation and yeah, transformation and where this community could be. Yeah, but I think that's a bigger conversation. Um, but that was definitely like a part of it, a part of the of being a wild dog. Like I think for me was grappling with that. Yeah.
Damn, James. You see now, we need to have another interview
Yeah.
because like I don't want to go too deep into this. I'm
Mm,
also struggling to grapple with that myself because
mm,
I'm here, a person of
mm,
color, and there's like a certain duty that I feel, to that, but at the same time, you don't want to just come in here and just change a whole system too radically, Like you want to respect the legacy that has come before, and you want to like maintain quality, but you also want to bring another level of transformation into this. And there will be, I do want to ask about your pledge, but I
mm.
don't think I'll do it now, right? There will be a
Yeah.
time for us to actually like unpack those things and really look into that. But I'm not sure. The thing is, I'm not sure how to tackle this issue, right? There are tons of, I don't know, I try to look for resources for like transformation in sports because in other like national sports there are transformation targets that you have to hit,
Mm,
um and like it feels like recently with cricket they've taken a few steps back, in fact, where
mm,
there's only like one like black African player, and CSA are now scrambling to figure things out there. But I think in terms of encapsulating what it means to be a wild dog, this was probably the most like thought out answer, that was deeper than, well, to be fair, there've only been two answers. And whenever I ask people this question, they're like, what does it mean? Damn, never really thought of this. But yeah, I think your answer tackles a lot of things that I think we should tackle. And there'll probably be a follow-up interview because we've run out of time here.
no worries. Who
But
else did
thank
you?
you.
I
Say
know
again?
you. Who else did you interview?
Oh, just Mauro. It's just Mauro. But yeah, there's Marcus has been working diligently with a list of a
Mm,
bunch of players. But one thing for the fundraising, which you've also been, because I think that like Danae, bruh, she didn't get to go because she didn't have money. So that's also
mm,
something we need to address. And yeah, in those conversations, like transformation was like sort of brought up.
yeah, I think
So
that's also like it doesn't like again being a wild dog is like also like having the privilege of being able to like afford to be a wild dog.
Afford
Like
it, dude. Yeah.
literally, like I don't know. I think all these things are like encapsulated in it, and that's just like what being part of like a small sports community maybe comes with is like I don't know all these different things.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe it's
yeah.
just the privileged ones. But look, we have the power to change it.
Mm,
And
mm.
the best way to start or how you start is by talking about it. So once again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you
No,
for
thanks
thinking
for
so hard
making me
about, say again?
reflect. Thanks for making me reflect properly. I haven't properly done it.
You're not
So
the only one.
yeah, that was good.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank
Cool.
you. You will hear from me. You will hear from me. Yeah, cheers, man.